Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Have Bear Will Travel. This week we got a letter from one of our more rural watchers. Dear Filthy, I'm writing to thank you for your episode on Ipswich. I've lived in Ipswich for most of my life, but had no idea just how many of my fellow Ipswichians were also on the sex offender register. It was very enlightening. I'm also a big fan of your other show about helping people find their estranged conjoined twins called Missing Something. The examples on your show have helped me reconnect with my conjoined twin, Keiko Takayama, and we are talking again after almost a decade in silence. Keiko is the main reason I am writing this letter. She has told me of a place in Japan that she visited called the Takayama Showa Museum. It sounds very interesting and sounds like a good fit for your show, Have Bear Will Travel. I hope you can find the time to go there. And thanks again, Robert Morton in Ipswich. Well, Robert, the Showa period in Japan was very interesting, and it touches of my heart. That's when a lot of the great Godzilla movies came out. So let's go check it out. The Showa era of Japan is marked by the reign of Emperor Hirohito and stretches from 1926 till his death in 1989. It's an era of great change in Japan's history, and Takayama's Showa Museum gives you a glimpse into the cultural and social turns that the country took. From pre-World War II nationalism and a focus on tradition, to post-World War Japan and the adoption of more global influences, the Showa period is an example of a country taking a massive cultural pivot. Growing up in the Showa period was pretty exciting from a pop culture point of view. Iconic Japanese characters like Astro Boy, Gigantor and Voltron beamed on the television screens around the world. What kid from the 70s doesn't remember Saturday afternoon Godzilla movies and then later video games created by Japanese companies like Atari, Sega and Nintendo? We may not have realised it at the time, but Japan had a big influence on children everywhere. There are rooms dedicated to various facets from Showa era culture, be it music, film or literature, and they've also worked hard at recreating shops, classrooms, homes and streets, all within the museum building. The Showa Museum, like the temples and castles that fill up daily with tourists, is a journey back in time. Post-war Japan, though quite different culturally to what existed before, retains a distinct voice and style that continues to attract travellers, and the Showa Museum shows how that voice has evolved in a very short and extreme time. The place is jam-packed with Showa-era technology, advertising, furniture, vehicles, magazines, toys and entertainment. There's a small cinema, a barber shop, a camera shop, restaurants, toy shops, a post office, and loads of cool kitschy crap that made me giddy. You can play video games, watch a movie or some Showa-era TV, and before you leave, you can pick up some Showa-era sweets or toys from this guy. They've even painted the ceiling to look like what the sky looked like back then, and it definitely smells Showa-y. The museum is really close to the morning market by the river, in the heart of town, and you'll need about an hour or so to check it out, depending on how deep you dive into the experience. Anime started in the Showa era, and the characters that began what is now a worldwide phenomenon litter the walls of the museum. There were some that I wasn't super familiar with, like Combatler V, and upon my return home, I've checked them out. But the great characters like G-Force, Star Blazers, Ultraman and Kimber the White Lion persist in my memory to this day. I never realised they were Japanese as a kid, but there is a very distinct style to anime that they share with current day titles, and their country of origin now seems obvious. Thanks, Japan. A lot of Western tourists miss the Showa Museum, but it's worth the effort for something a little different on your holiday. The entry fee isn't very expensive, and the people who run the place really have done an impressive job. So don't miss out.
大丈夫だよ。地球を助けるためにはやっぱり僕が行かなくちゃならないんだ。
さあ母さん時間だよ。
太陽は地球の130万倍もある。太陽にこのちっぽけなものが効くかしら。おいら悟空よろしく。
So that's it for the show this week. I hope you enjoyed Takayama Showa Museum. Takayama's a beautiful place. It's an interesting town and there's lots to see there, but the Showa Museum's definitely worth a visit. Thank you again to Robert for your suggestion, and I'm glad we could bring you and your conjoined twin back together. See you next week.